Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a B-movie review, and today I'm going to be having a look at The Dark Knight. I'm afraid I'm not talking about Batman The Dark Knight, I'm talking about the 2011 $10,000 budgeted B-movie film called The Dark Knight, also known as Dark Nemesis in some districts. So if you're thinking it's going to be about Batman, I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. So this is a very low budget B-movie. Now from the cover, I don't know if you can see it, I'll try and put a picture up on screen if not. This looks like it's a medieval fantasy film, and obviously you would think that was the title as well. It isn't. This is actually a post-apocalypse film, and essentially it is the story of a group of soldiers who, it seems kind of the world has almost reverted back to a sort of pseudo medieval sort of style of rule. You've got various warlords controlling certain districts, and basically it's a group of soldiers of one of the warlords want to kind of steal some money from like a raid and essentially go off into sort of live their life in freedom. One of the sort of soldiers, one of the main characters, has got a sort of like other motivations as well. So they steal this. I think there's 6 of them. They steal this this sort of bunch of silver and money and whatnot, and sort of head off into the wilderness. And the Warlord, who is very much like Darth Vader kind of rip off. I mean, I say that, but they're not. They're kind of dressed more like samurai, to be fair. But he's obviously channeling Darth Vader, this guy, and he sends his kind of like a group of like female assassins, all dressed in black and who wear these white masks, sort of chasing after them. Now I have to say they look fairly effective, considering the budget. But the masks that they use are literally those kind of like those plain masks that you buy in the joke shop, and you know, so it would have been nice to have maybe seen a little bit something that they've obviously just not bought from a joke shop. It's just those kind of like mime ones, if you know what I mean. But the actual costumes, they look quite good, and kind of they kind of look quite menacing. They don't really speak. So then this group of sort of soldiers starts to try and run away from the warlord, basically. And they head towards like this cursed forest, basically, and you know, rumours there that there's some sort of monsters that have been mutated by the sort of like the wars previously and stuff that are living there. And this is why they want to go in there, because they think they'll be sort of safe from the warlords at least. So they head into the forest and of course get attacked by what they believe is one monster, but it turns out to be multiple. And you know, basically the long and short of it is these are kind of like, they're kind of vampire type creatures. Now they're completely CGI. Now I have to stress before I say this next comment, this is a $10,000 film budget, and that's everything. So these creatures are fully CGI. So you can kind of imagine the sort of the effects we're talking about here. So it's kind of unfair to say the CGI is completely crap, because obviously it's, you know, it's a this film cost virtually nothing to make. So based on what they had, you know, you can kind of give it a little bit of a pass. But if you're just looking at this film objectively, and budget was, you know, you weren't sort of considering the budget was an issue, the CGI creatures look like they're coming straight out of a video game, and I'm talking PS1 video game. And surprisingly, they're actually on screen for a good amount of time. You think when you think of, say, things like sci-fi films, they have like these monster films. You barely really ever see these creatures, but these creatures are actually on screen for a fair amount of time. But the CG is never very good at all, to be quite honest with you. They move in an unrealistic manner. They look so very, very much out of place. And essentially the soldiers are, you know, they kind of want to defeat these. And it turns out one of these soldiers had, you know, one of these monsters killed his parents when he was a little boy and whatnot. And it's his kind of personal vendetta against it. So they sort of, these soldiers in the meantime are being pursued by these sort of female assassins, and they sort of come to a truce and end up sort of like fighting side by side until they sort of get whittled down to the last few. And that's kind of really the film, to be honest with you. Obviously, as you'd expect, they kind of defeat the bad guys in the end and whatnot, but it is. So there's two ways you can look at this film. Obviously, just looking at it, and if you, like I said, if you forgot about the budget, the effects are very, very sort of basic. It reminded me, a lot of it is filmed in green, it's in sort of like the green screen or whatever. The sort of the first part of the movie when they're sort of having these, it shows you the sort of like all these people sort of fighting in their sort of wars and stuff like that. It reminds me a little bit of 300s, but obviously a very, very sort of a cheap version. And then it's filmed on location in some sort of like woodland area, basically. But you know, the acting for obviously these guys are very much that of professional actors. But considering that they don't do a too bad a job, I would say, considering obviously the budget that we're looking at here, none of these guys I would imagine are professional actors. So, but if you kind of like put it in, if you factor in the budget, I don't think you may not say it's a too bad of an effort. But if you look at it, if you were to just buy this and you fancy yourself, you know, a great action film, you thought, oh yeah, I fancy just watching it from, I think you'd be disappointed. So it's very much like some of these reviews I've done. The cover, I think, is kind of misleading, and obviously oversells what the actual film is. So if you go into this film having a bit more knowledge about what you expect, you kind of may appreciate it for obviously with the low budget that it is. I would say it's better than some of the real low budget films I've seen. But obviously, if you're having a look at it just at a film in general, I wouldn't say it's fantastic. But I'll give this film a 4.5 out of 10. I do that because for the budget that it's got, I think it's done pretty much the best you can expect for a $10,000 film. I mean, if we're looking at in pounds, you're probably looking at around, you know, no more than sort of £6,500–7,000 So you've got to think that's all the effects, all the actors, all the equipment. So not a bad effort for that kind of little of money, to be fair. So a 4.5, so just below average, I would say, for really based on this budget. So leave me a comment. Have you seen it? What do you think? And I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later.